hand. With peace talks stalled and US President Donald Trump offering no timeline for ending the war with Iran, the question on everyone's lips is, who can withstand the pain inflicted by this war the longest? There is growing evidence that it's Iran, with no imminent threat of a return to a punishing bombing campaign. Iran is achieving its central war aim of driving up the price of oil, and with it pressuring Trump to accede to some of its demands. And it is Payday Friday, and a popular shopping mall located in eastern Caracas is packed. But while the hallways look full and the display windows are brightly lit and well stocked, many people enter and leave empty-handed. Shoppers walk around, browse, compare prices, but they buy very little. The exception is a store belonging to a renowned international lingerie brand, around which a line has formed following the announcement of special discounts on certain products.
That an internal watchdog for the United States Department of Justice, DOJ, will review whether the federal government complied with a law mandating the release of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein files. The Office of Inspector General, which operates independently of the department, explained on Thursday that its probe would focus on Epstein Files Transparency Act passed in November.
And as the US expands its war with Iran, opposition is growing, not just among the public, but inside the military itself. Some service members are questioning orders, exploring conscientious objection, and speaking out. What's driving this shift, and how far could it go? In this episode,
That who? Real Betis versus Real Madrid. What? Spanish La Liga where? Estadio La Cartuja de Sevilla in Seville, Spain when? Friday at 9 p.m. 20 GMT. How to follow? We'll have all the build-up on Al Jazeera Sport from 17 GMT in advance of our live text commentary stream. Real Madrid will continue their pursuit of league leaders Barcelona when they travel to Real Betis on Friday. But the record La Liga winners know that any slip-up now will be terminal for their hopes of lifting silverware this season.
And Trump's twice-chosen pick to run the US Federal Cybersecurity Agency, CISA, has requested to withdraw from the position, leaving the agency without any clear person to lead it on a permanent basis. In a letter to the White House on Wednesday, Sean Planky requested that the Trump administration withdraw his nomination, citing a holdup in the Senate, which is required to hold a vote to approve his appointment. And what if you could outsource your doom scrolling? That's the premise behind the new startup Noscroll, which is offering an AI-powered bot that can browse your social feeds, news sites, and other online chatter, then text you when something important happens. No feed, no brain rot. No RageBit reads Noscroll's pitch to users, just Signal.
That Instagram is testing a new image-sharing app called Instance. The company confirmed to TechCrunch on Thursday. The app, which is available in Spain and Italy, that lets users share disappearing photos with their friends that can be viewed only once and remain available for 24 hours. With Instance, you capture a photo in a single tap with no editing allowed. The app doesn't allow uploads from your camera roll and only lets you capture and share content using the in-app camera. While you can add text to your instance, as these unedited photos are called, you can't modify them any further. Beirut, Lebanon. At a store in Beirut, a shop owner breaks into laughter. "No, I don't want to comment on the negotiations," he told Al Jazeera, referring to Thursday evening's direct talks between Israel and Lebanon in Washington, D.C. "If I say the wrong thing, someone might..." South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has suspended the national police chief after he was charged with breaking finance laws over the awarding of a healthcare contract. National Police Commissioner Fanny Masemola was suspended on Thursday in the latest scandal to hit South Africa's police force. Ramaphosa is under increasing pressure to stamp out corruption before voting in local elections begins in November.
And Republicans in the United States Senate have passed a resolution to fund U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, SE and Customs and Border Protection, CBP, and the first step in ending a months-long standoff sparked by opposition to U.S. President Donald Trump's mass deportation drive. Halls of debate gave way early Thursday to a vote on the resolution in which Republicans, and who hold a slim 53-47 majority in the chamber, used a tactic that allowed them to proceed with a simple majority rather than overcoming a 60-vote threshold.
That. OpenAI on Thursday released GPT 5.5, its newest AI model, which the company called smartest and most intuitive to use model yet. The algorithm comes with increased capabilities in a multitude of areas, with OpenAI co-founder and president Greg Brockman claiming that it also brings the company one step closer to the creation of OpenAI's super app. On a call with journalists, Brockman said that the new model was a big advancement towards more agentic and intuitive computing. That. Artisan may be known for their bold Stop Hiring Humans campaign, but the reality is every founder needs to assemble the right team if they want to scale. The fast-growing AI startup is building AI employees for sales outbound and customer engagement. That. This week on Build Mode, Isabel Johannessen spoke with Jaspar Carmichael Jack, the co-founder and CEO of Artisan, about the early days growing their team and the hiring mistakes that could have killed them before they got off the ground. That. Making the wrong hires or filling the wrong positions are mistakes that compound quickly. They waste time, drag down morale, and often create an execution lag that can be fatal to a startup just starting to scale.
And the foreign ministers of Pakistan and 7 other Muslim-majority countries issued a joint statement on Thursday rejecting any attempts to alter the historic and legal status quo in Jerusalem and its Islamic and Christian holy sites. The foreign ministers condemned the repeated violations of the historic and legal status quo at Jerusalem's Islamic and Christian holy sites by Israeli occupation authorities. And CNN. A weather sensor in France's busiest airport, Paris Charles de Gaulle, has been tampered with in what a French weather association says it suspects to be a betting scam. France's National Meteorological Agency, Météo France, said in a statement sent to CNN on Thursday that it has formally filed a complaint regarding the tampering of an automated data processing system located in Charles de Gaulle's airport, used to measure daily temperatures for Paris. And Pope Leo XIV on Thursday denounced the Iranian regime's killing of protesters, but stressed that, as a pastor, he cannot support the US-Israeli war with Iran. The Pope's remarks, made to reporters on board the papal plane returning from his trip to Africa, follow President Donald Trump's attacks on the pontiff for his stance on the Middle East conflict. And Italian government officials have hit back at suggestions that their national football team could still be sent to the World Cup 2026, even if already qualified Iran does not compete at the finals. Since the United States-Israeli war on Iran began on February 28, Iran's participation in this summer's edition of FIFA's Global Showpiece has been in doubt because all of the country's group stage matches are scheduled to be played in the US. And Monterrey, Mexico, in July 2024, following the arrest of cartel leader Ismael El Mayo Zambada in Texas, activist Maria Isabel Cruz and her colleagues started to notice a troubling trend. Zambada was the co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel, one of the most powerful criminal networks in Mexico. Authorities in the United States applauded his capture as a direct strike in their campaign to dismantle the cartel. And the United States has announced it will reclassify state-licensed medical marijuana as a less dangerous drug, a step in line with a growing trend away from penalizing its possession. The Department of Justice clarified on Thursday that the change does not legalize recreational or medical marijuana under federal law. And a 15-year-old Palestinian has died from his wounds. after he was shot by Israeli forces during a raid in the occupied West Bank city of Nablus, Palestinian media reported. The teenager suffered critical injuries after being struck by live ammunition in the shoulder and was transferred to a nearby hospital where he died, the official Palestinian news agency Wafa reported on Thursday, citing medical sources. And on the outskirts of Somalia's southern port city, the land has become an open graveyard for cattle. Some are left where they fell, while others are buried in shallow graves after consecutive failed rainy seasons. For many families here, pastoralists who rely on livestock for milk, meat and income, animals were everything. But what was once a lifeline of food and income has now become a stark symbol of loss. And Meta is planning to cut 10% of its workforce, amounting to 8,000 employees, according to a report from Bloomberg. Meta also will not hire for 6,000 roles that are currently open. According to an internal memo sent to employees Thursday and viewed by Bloomberg, Meta told staff that the cuts will begin on May 20. Reuters had earlier reported on Meta's plans for sweeping layoffs.
That Navy Secretary John Phelan has been fired, a U.S. official and a person familiar with the matter said on Wednesday, in another wartime shakeup at the Pentagon coming just weeks after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ousted the Army's top general. The Pentagon announced his departure in a brief statement, saying he was leaving the administration effective immediately. But it did not provide a reason or say whether it was his decision to. Washington. Pakistan on Thursday urged the United Nations Security Council, UNSC, to take up the dispute over the Indus Waters Treaty, IWT, warning that India's continued unilateral suspension of the treaty carries grave peace and security and humanitarian consequences for South Asia. Pakistan's permanent representative to the UN ambassador, Azim Iftikhar Ahmad, handed over a letter from Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar to the Security Council President, that Ambassador Jamal Faraz Arawaya of Bahrain.
And a huge unstable chunk of glacier is blocking the route up Mount Everest from base camp in Nepal just as peak climbing season gets underway in the Himalayas. Icefall doctors who fix ropes and ladders on the lower part of the route up the world's highest peak can find no way round the 100-foot high, 30 meters block of ice just under Camp 1. And an American Kuwaiti journalist who was detained by authorities in Kuwait last month after he reposted videos and images related to the US-Israeli war with Iran has been acquitted. According to his international legal team, Hamed Shihab Eldin was understood to have been charged with spreading false information, harming national security and misusing his mobile phone. And Barcelona have announced that Lamine Yamal's domestic season in Spain is over, but that the international forward should be fit to represent his country at this summer's World Cup. The 18-year-old striker helped Spain to the Euro 2024 title, while also lifting La Liga with Barca last season.
Microsoft is offering voluntary retirement buyouts for the first time in its 51-year history. Per reports from CNBC and Bloomberg, according to an internal memo, employees will be eligible if their years of work at Microsoft plus their age totals 70 or more, with some exceptions. So if someone who is 52 years old has 18 years of service at Microsoft, they could qualify for the buyout. Bluesky is beefing up its social network as a better place to post photos. Late Wednesday, the company announced a new version of its app, version 1121, which boosts the quality of images in posts both in terms of upload size and resolution. Before, Bluesky only supported photo uploads of 1 megabyte or less. Now, that limit has doubled to 2 megabytes. In addition, photos will render at up to 4000px instead of 2000x as before. The latest mobile network experience benchmarking report for Q1 2026 by OpenSignal has declared Zong the country's overall top-performing mobile operator. Based on more than 1.23 billion real user measurements collected nationwide, the OpenSignal-powered study covering 159 districts shows Pakistan's average mobile download speed stands at 18.6 megabits